How you doing, folks? Brad coming at you here. Little recap of some foosball. I don't have any cards to show. I bid on a Larry Zonka, the Hall of Fame autos from Spectra. Yeah, I bid like $50, thinking, no, that's about the on-card auto Larry Zonka. $50 should do it. Man, those sets are popular. They went for like $66. I was like, hey, that's a good thing, though. I mean, it's a good thing that they're selling like that. I was like, oh, I thought $50 would have had it. Guess not. But speaking of those Hall of Fame autos, for those guys doing sets, there's 5 more this year in this year's Spectra, so check that out. As to football, making this vid on a Wednesday because I had to even have an extra day to recover from watching the Rams Monday night game. Oh my gosh. I think that was literally, I think my eyes bled. That's how bad that offensive performance was. Wow. Wow. Now, the 49ers did their typical Monday night, opening night, domination, we're going to the Super Bowl look. And the Rams were just god awful. I mean, there isn't even anything you can explain. What did they do right? Now that we're done with that, wow. Just wow. And everybody's like, why don't you start Jared Goff? Okay, if Jared Goff's not ready, that's fine. But what about Sean Mannion? He actually looked decent in the preseason. And we already know Case Keenum's below average before even the game started. So why don't you just give Mannion a shot and maybe he's below average too? Or hey, maybe he's average. Or above average. So I don't get the Case Keenum thing. Like, is he like Fisher's long lost son or something? I mean, I don't get it. But yeah, we aren't going to spend much time on that one. Now to the Dolphins game. I'm sure some of you who were maybe watching the Cowboys game or something look down and you're like, holy crap, the Dolphins are still right in it. It didn't surprise me that the overall score was close. Didn't really surprise me at all. But it was how it was close. Like, it literally was just a 3-point game all the way through. And I never thought I would have said the day after that we should have beat the Seattle Seahawks. I never thought I would have said that. But for those who didn't watch the game here, first of all, it was sloppy on both sides. Seattle had a lot of miscues that would have kept drives going. They didn't actually have miscues that took points off the board necessarily, but you never know what those would have led to. So they were not perfect by any means either. But, our defensive line for 75% of the game pretty much had their way. So that's why it was, our back seven, which stinks. You didn't notice it majority of the game until the end, really. Mario Williams did get a concussion, which was why he was not out there the last couple of drives of the game. But defensive line dominated for most of the game. But, offense, I know everyone by now has seen the Kenny Stills drop. What has been Tannehill's biggest knock since he's been in the league? Just can't seem to generate the big plays, right? I mean, he throws. This would have end up being like a 70-yard touchdown, but he throws it at least 50 yards. I mean, you're talking on a line just perfect, man. Kenny Stills beats Earl Thomas down the middle. Earl Thomas gets a little messed up, thinks he's going over here. Instead, he goes straight. And just, it's there. And thank you, Kenny Stills. Thank you. So there's 7 points off the board right there. We also had a 4th and inches we went for it and handed it off. Why didn't we do? I was just screaming like, I'm fine going for it, but we better do a quarterback sneak here. No, we handed it off. Took another 3 points off the board if we'd just kicked the field goal. Then we have a 27-yard field goal blocked. Because Tunzel, little rookie mistake here, leaves a gap about this hard between the guy next to him, so they just went right in between it and was able to get, what could have been. Now, it was a tough, you weren't going to score a lot of points against the Seahawks. It was a nice, tough game, but I never would have thought afterwards, I'd have been like, we actually should have won that game. I never thought I would have said that. But, you know, it's what bad teams do, and good teams show up when they have to. Last drive, and I assumed that was going to be the case. I knew they would get down to at least the 10, 15-yard line. It was just a matter of maybe there's a tip pass, maybe there's some penalties that mess them up. But I already knew they were getting down there. There was no doubt about it. And they end up winning 12-10 because Hauschka misses the extra point, but there was hardly any time left. But all in all, people were like, man, were you encouraged? Not really. The only thing I'll say is at least they didn't give up when bad stuff started happening. Because in years previous under the Feldman era, it was like a spiral. Speaking of spiral, the San Diego Chargers. Perfect example of what I'm talking about. I mean, you're talking about domination. I mean, they were getting the Chiefs' house, and they were just plowing them, man. And then Keenan Allen gets hurt. Chiefs finally get in the end zone, and next thing you know, they lose a 21-point lead or whatever. And the sad part is, I'm sure Chargers fans weren't even surprised. But, oh, Lord. Spencer Ware. Watch out, Jamal Charles. I mean, it's still going to be a committee probably when he gets back, but days of you being the man are probably over. That's a perfect example. Another one, the Tennessee Titans. Vikings, first, quarter and a half just look absolute garbage. Tennessee having their way, right? Up, I think it was 10-0, should have been more. And then, again, bad thing happens. To one defensive touchdown, 2 defensive touchdowns, more turnovers, and just... So at least the Dolphins didn't do that. They didn't do that as soon as something bad happened, like they normally do. But, oh. Wow. Packers. Jaguars. That was a good football game. Neither team really ran the ball that great, but TJ Yeldon, by the way, he just kind of stinks. I mean, I kind of said that last year. He just kind of stinks. So they need Chris Ivory to come back healthy. They shut down Allen Robinson for the most part. The young secondary did a good job. Nick Perry. First time in 5 years we have a Nick Perry sighting. He looked like the best defender on the field for a while. I mean, Nick Perry. What up, Greg Thomas 82? I hope you still have the Nick Perry PC, because that guy was just a monster week 1. Nick Perry, who would have thought? Another guy who was a monster week 1. Quan Alexander. Yeah, that's right, I said it. Only deep football fans know Quan Alexander. Second-year player with the Bucks. You want to talk about everywhere. I don't know what his tackle number ended up being, but I'm pretty sure he had 70. That guy was everywhere. Didn't matter if a wide receiver caught it. Didn't matter if they handed it off the running back. Didn't matter if the quarterback kept it. Quan Alexander, boom, right there. So, those are 2 players that stood out that, you may or may not know. But, anything really surprising? I'm trying to think anything uber surprising. You have the Giants-Cowboys. Giants run defense. They came to play. So all that money spent along the defensive line and whatnot, and Janoris Jenkins, money well spent through week 1. Everyone's like, oh, Dak Prescott did really well. You can tell. He's typical young quarterback. First option's open. Step back, your 5th step, whatever. Boom, rifle sit, looks great. That first option's not open. That's when you see the problem. And like a lot of plays to Dez Bryant, needed to be on the outside. He threw it on the inside. Little stuff like that where Romo normally has it on point. Typical young quarterback stuff, though. He didn't do anything to lose the game. Just, they still had a shot at the end. Terrence Williams, well, pretty much the story of his career, just disappointment. Flash, and then disappoint. He'll flash, and then mainly disappoint. But the Giants, to me, are always, like, weird. Because you know how most teams will do halves? Like, they'll be good this half, bad that half. They're literally a drive-by-drive basis team. Eli Manning, I mean, I'm talking, will just boom, boom, boom. Next drive, under the same situation. It isn't like it's now a 2-minute warning or anything. And they can't even gain a yard. They look inept. Next drive, boom, look like Hall of Famers again. Ineptness for 2 drives. Just, they're weird. And they've been like that for the last few years now, and I can't understand it. But when they're on, they're like, man, this team's a contender. And then you're just like, ugh. You know, Justin Pugh gets... I laughed. Every time Justin Pugh, like, misses a block or something, I just laugh, thinking of Ben Quigley sitting in his chair going, I knew you sucked. I told him not to draft you. That's just all I think of, because he got manhandled a few times. But, good times. I know there's a bunch of other stuff to talk about, but it's 11 minutes. So, Dolphins got the Pats this week. Speaking of the Pats, didn't surprise me they won, really, but looked pretty good. Defense looks pretty good. The offense is what it is. It's efficient, you know. So, we'll see how we do. Hopefully we can get our offense on track, because we're going to have to score, I would say, at least 24 to have a shot, I think. So if we can get, I think 24 is going to be the magic number. If you see on Sunday the Dolphins scored 24 points, I think you're going to see a victory. If not, I think you're going to see a loss. So, but I think it's pretty much a must-win, pretty much. So that's all I got. Sorry, no cards. I just thought I'd do a little Week 1 recap. Another thing to watch out for, Blair Walsh. I think he's got a couple weeks. A lot of people don't realize he missed 3 kicks in that game, 2 field goals, and extra point. So after his playoff little thing at the end, hopefully that guy's not been a mental head case now. So that's something to at least watch for the next few weeks, because you know they obviously think they're a title contender. You can't have a kicker with mind issues, you know. So hopefully we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, he missed 3 kicks on Sunday. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching, folks, and go Dolphins.